and very unfortunate to say the least, and nobody's favorite segment, but it is called the Sicko segment. So Roxanne Perez, this guy here says this is so up. She doesn't deserve this. I'm hoping she's okay and safe. Some of y'all people are so up and sick in the head. Seek therapy. First, y'all stalked and showed up at Rhea's house. Now Liv got 2 stalkers. Let's not forget about Sonya. Now some crusty ass bitch out here exposing where Roxanne lives. Like, what is wrong with y'all? This person here as well that we have in the Sicko segment, believe it or not, this account here made the Sicko segment before any of this went down. And I don't know if this is the culprit, but is Roxanne Perez dead yet in Minecraft? You guys, but not really in Minecraft. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, that's their Twitter handle or whatever their name on Twitter. Madness, man. Madness. Wow. And is that the culprit? I'm entirely unsure, but yeah, some sicko doxed her Addie. Yeah, it's just incredibly unfortunate. Why the f would you do that? And like, what's the point? And we have all these dumb in the IWC who are like, their whole thing is doing Twitter spaces where they are like doxing each other and arguing with each other about each other. But they're all like wrestling fan or I'm a wrestler or here's our wrestling podcast or whatever. And their whole gig is let's all dox each other and cancel each other and have mental breakdowns. And you know what I mean? It's like, what happened? Like, do you guys need BetterHelp.com? The new sponsor of PWT, brought to you by. No, I don't have it. But why is that the interest? Like, you guys aren't really into wrestling. You're into like this other weird, like go on 4chan or whatever and do that. Is that what they do on 4chan? I don't even really know. Go on Kiwi Farms and do that. I think maybe that's more appropriate, right? People have been having these crazy ass takes. Like Thekla is threatening Mina as well. Thekla doing an original Chic homage match where she stabs Mina repeatedly in the head, and a bloodbath would be cinema. And then I just respond. I'm like I'm pre-blocked. And a lot of these sickos, dude, I'm pre-blocked from them already. So I just thought I'd bring that to the sicko segment. So Hurricane Helm's arguing with a sicko here. Robert Watkins says audiences won't hate a character if they are suitably interesting or charismatic enough, no matter what they do. Bad guys are defined by their actions, not crowd reaction. And then he goes on to say, I'm honestly trying to understand, because are we really defining a babyface and heel by who the audience cheers and boos and not by their actions? If that's the case, then audiences like both Vader and Palpatine. And then Hurricane Helms goes, quite possibly the goofiest response I've had in a while. Are we really defining babyface and heel by who the audience cheers and boos? Yes, the crowd boos you, you're the heel. If they love you, you're the babyface. Exactly. Like, what the... It's that simple. Bro, Shane Helms, who I'm a huge fan of. And yes, exactly. I mean, dude, these guys so many people I just don't think know even. The age of the internet has skewed the view. People just like change what words mean and shit these days, let alone what wrestling is and stuff. Everything's sort of been skewed a little bit at this point. And like, yeah, I don't even think they understand that shit, to be perfectly honest. So moving along here, what else do we got? Glenn Gilberti says, so Coach does a show with the Vince Russo and repeated this. You do a show with Vince Russo. Gee, I wonder who the source is. Where Featherstone says, I was given word from a source close to the situation that Vince is interested in buying back WWE. So Disco, shout out K100, by the way, he goes, yo, the source is, you guys both do a show with Russo. I wonder who the source is. And then Featherstone's like, nope, try again. So just a little sicko war. The Dirt Sheet Wars, I guess, makes it into the Sicko Wars, right? So Tony Khan, following the news of WrestleMania being canceled next year in NOLA, and the fact you did say we would get a pay-per-view live after the show, do you think we could get a nice pay-per-view in the Crescent City around that time? Professor Nick Harrison, who's awesome, he's like, come on and cook, Tony Khan. And it's like, no, you can't just we have to get away from reacting to WWE shit. Let WWE seem reactionary to your shit, because that's how they've seemed lately. They're like announcing shows after you guys are already there. Oh, we'll just do NXT there. It seems reactionary to your shit. So let WWE continue to do that. And we're probably going to overtime here, folks. So is AEW, goddammit. But yeah, like let them be reactionary to you. You stop being reactionary to them. Anyways, so the Roxanne Perez account right here, see, made the fucking sicko list. This guy here, XXX T Bastion, says, who do I add or remove? MAGA wrestlers. So this guy's got a list. He's checking it twice. He's gonna find out if you're crooked or nice. Ugh, I don't have a good Trump. Miles Bourne, Jada Parker. So he's just keeping a list of people who he thinks are MAGA wrestlers. Like, you can't be any more fucking dumber than that, right? Chat, one of you needs to start a list of fucking Biden supporter or who's next. I don't know who the Democrats got down the line. Kamala supporter. Like, what the fuck? So stupid. You just made the fucking dummy list. How about that?
You just made the list.
So notice how the dirt sheets say move for AEW versus canceled with WWE. People have covered that before, you know, the favoritism. Speaking of sickos, though, I enjoy little scoops like this. Not that I'm like trying to cancel anybody, or I don't know why these commentary. Like, I quote tweeted this. I was like, dude, there's so many marks who do commentary these days, and not Phil marks, like not the good kind, like the fucking real shitty kind. But Aurora Teves goes, or says this: a few people have sent me this clip, and the commentary isn't just unprofessional, it's degrading. This was during an Iron Woman match meant to showcase strength, endurance, and heart. Instead, it became a moment to demean the work we put into the sport. We deserve better. And she also said, like, my parents were watching, and this was a big moment for me, and they got to hear their daughter being talked about like this. Take a listen to what these commentators, I don't know what Fed this was in or Indy, but like, take a listen to how they're doing commentary. Unless this is like the Juggalo shit, I really don't know if it's fitting, you know?
Aurora Tevez looking like a battered escort after a tough Friday night.
Who is that? Josh Denny? 626, is that Josh Denny? Who the fuck is coming up with a battered escort after a tough night? Where do you come up with that, bro? Jesus Christ, buddy.
Aurora Tevez looking like a battered escort after a tough Friday night.
That sounds like nobody likes onions, son. Shout out Hackamania. But listen, I don't know why you'd say that. This is like when that commentator's like, oh, it looks like a bunch of nappy-headed hoes. Do you guys remember that back in the day? It's like, damn. Why?
You would know all about that, wouldn't you, there, Wes?
Yeah, I don't know. Just like, if that was at like one of the Juggalo shows, okay, I get it. People fucking do that at those shows. But so again, this Phil Lindsay guy, Phil L, because he's fucking taking all the L's. He's just like obsessed with Julian Weeks, man, and he posts like, this guy's 150,000 fucking posts on Twitter. That's crazy. That's fucking a lot of posts, man. Yeah, he's just beefing with Julian Weeks, and it's just a sicko war and a sicko versus a wacko, I guess. But it's like obsessive, where it's like, bro, if you don't care, fucking move on. Like, who gives a shit, you know? And that won't get removed. So maybe accounts got fucking, posts got deleted. So here's some sicko going around pretending to be Jacob Fatu. Hi, I'm Jacob Fatu. I need $3,000. It's urgent. I want to give Solo a surprise because I love him. And then this guy goes, how do I know it's the real Jacob Fatu? All gas, no brakes. Yaramin. And then this guy goes, okay, I believe you. So yeah, just beware of scams and stalkers. The PWT universe, the wackos are getting out of hand too. Okay, at this juncture. Arsenal fan says, this is why AEW is uncool. They will never get new fans with this type of toxic marks. So, yeah, we covered it earlier in the show. Just the sickos being like, yeah, we're gatekeeping the shit out of AEW. Tony begged them not to. Again, AEW gets moved. NXT gets canceled, even though it's fucking just moved. Same with WrestleMania. Canceled in the dirt sheets, but it was just moved. We go through this all the time. So Taya Valkyrie, we covered this before as well. She's arguing with sickos, and somebody saw a picture of Taya Valkyrie in a bathing suit, though, and he was like, oh, is that what I think it is? Like, implying she had like a fucking dick or something, right? The post is deleted, but really it's just she's wearing a bikini and she looks great in it, and it's just got like a metal buckle on the front, and it's like a designer, or I don't know if it's designer, but it's like a nice, like it looks designer. It has like metal pieces on the suit, and this guy's like, oh, is that a dick or whatever? He deleted it, obviously. So yeah, just ridiculous. But she went at him. Brandon Thurston says, wrestling talent have the opportunity to change the business every night before TV, with revenue mostly in live rights. It would put tremendous pressure on management if talent refused to work just before airtime. Brandon, why would they do that, you fucking idiot?
Fucking Mark!
Like, why would they even do that? Who benefits from that? A, holding the show hostage, so a bunch of Ultimate Warriors, bro. Why would they do that? A. B, what company are you talking about? C, is it fucking for what? For more money? Like, I don't get how this is. You want the economy of wrestling to fucking crash because, no, I want them to get paid more. Well, the top people are getting paid so much in all companies, they'll never do this, idiot. Why don't you fucking know that? Aren't you like an economist? Jesus Christ. So again, it's like, what do you even mean by that, Thurston? That's why you made the list a long time ago. The list's been a little dormant because you know why? I forgot that fucking there's like the disco list and like Conan has a physical list and it's like, fuck. I can't have an invisible list as my bit, but we still add sickos to the invisible list. Red Bar has a list. Other people have lists. Okay. Jericho had one. He didn't even invent that shit. Someone else actually did. But either way, so here's another example, as I brought up earlier in the show. Robert Delph says, curious question. Would you say this is the fittest you've been? So, here's the picture of the thing. So he saw this buckle and was like, is that a penis? And it's like, I don't know, dude. Are you gay? Like, you want to suck it? What's your fucking... not that that's not fucking cool, but like, just say that, bro. Don't be all angsty and shit. Robert Delph goes, curious question. Would you say this is the fittest you've been in your life career? I met you and watched you wrestle in person, rather. I'm so sorry. Dyslexic. And I'm just stunned at the busy. Thanks. Valkyrie goes, I feel like right now I'm the fittest and healthiest I've been. As for busy, I'm the busiest I've ever been. Travel every week to work for AW, but you're not on any show. Host my weekly travel show for AW. Okay, is that getting views? And I'm not shitting on her. It's just this is what Perazzo did too. You're almost like fan-splaining to a fan, dude. Host and produce my own podcast. I don't like that, which I'm not shitting on. I went to check it out. Not dissing. 44 followers. They just launched it. The views aren't. Go and check it out, guys. I'm currently shooting season 2 of Johnny Loves Taya. So who's seen that? As well as currently about to put out 3 new songs. Yup, I'm busy. It just seems so condescending from her and Perazzo. Like, I don't know. I just it feels like I would just say, yes, the busiest ever, like without a doubt. And then if someone were to say you're not on AEW, then I don't know. Does this not feel Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm just looking too much into it and she didn't mean it. Social media is weird. You don't know the inflection and cadence in people's voices and what they really mean and shit. So this is so wholesome from Neckbeards. Here's this cute little bugger, Follow the Revolution, who says, when I reflect on AEW, I am reminded of its humble beginnings. The moment that stands out as my favorite in all elite wrestling history is undoubtedly Jon Moxley's debut at the inaugural Double or Nothing 2019. What a moment this was. The company has consistently provided us with exciting moments, including a heartfelt Brody Lee tribute, an impressive 81,000 plus fan attendance in the UK, and an unforgettable matches. See, this is fansplaining. This is what it felt like Taya was kind of doing, no? Well, I'm doing this, and I did this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing... AEW has rekindled my passion for professional wrestling, and I am grateful for this company's contributions for me as a wrestling fan. I have been to several AEW shows, and there was never a questionable decision going to one. Yeah, well, not for you, but maybe the parents of the kids you fucking took pictures with in front of the fucking show. This summer, I will be joining my elite family this summer in Texas, so goddamn grateful for this company, man. This is what you call a paradigm shift, GJ. This is what you call a paradigm shift? What? Jesus. So, yeah, this guy heals Sicko. So I posted this a while back. I go, Mariah May and Bane both wouldn't bypass NXT. Lucha Bros run WWE's radar for way longer than you sickos think. That's why they bypassed NXT. Vacker was also being scouted for years. AEW doesn't immediately push anybody or even know how to push people correctly. Everyone in WWE gets quote-unquote pushed immediately. Like, truly you do. Like, if you're there, you're getting pushed, man. You're in the fucking big leagues. It's sink or swim time. You're either jobbing out. Like, I get what you mean by push with a title, but, like, even has Nakamura not been pushed just because he doesn't ultimately get the title? Like, pushes are fucking different, okay? There's different levels to pushes, but you receive a push however it fucking comes about. But once you're in WWE, like, that's the push. That's the initial push. That's the wind under the fucking sail. Now you're rowing. So, and I guess you're looking for another push, but it's like fucking, what I mean by that is like, once you get to WWE, you're on fucking that you're getting pushed, or they didn't hire you for nothing. They don't hire you to just be benched. And I know they go, oh, well, this guy's benched. Okay. The guys you're all crying about being benched are fucking Carlitos wrestled one match. They just released him. or they didn't renew his shit. So if you see people on WWE's roster where you're like, well, they're benched, they're likely not fucking getting their contracts renewed, okay? Black and Rusev are Triple H's guys from OG NXT. All of his guys got their jobs back at one point over the last 2 years. AEW wasn't a factor in that decision. So we all know that. And then Mr. Sicko goes, yes, they will, buddy. Mariah's going to be making too much money to be hanging out in NXT. Face it, everyone I mentioned got signed or returned after working for AEW. This is why young guys in WWE that are not being used would be better off trying to go to AEW while young. God, that's so stupid. But yeah, Sicko 0, Phil Infinity. Because yeah, bickety bam. Where did Mariah May end up? Fucking NXT. Why? Because the fucking plan is if we get Mariah May, she's going to be in NXT. So Machiavelli posted, it is sad to see wrestling legends like this. So let's play this video. And this isn't to mock or shame any legends here. This is just for context of what he posted. So we're not feigning outrage here. You guys seen it, so you can actually have opinions on it and see if you agree with me or you disagree with me and what the wrestlers' responses were to this.
Harassment, Dean Malenko.
Listen, man, I'm not going to lie. It is kind of sad to see these people who gave their fucking bodies to the business, like wheeling in luggage and still having to do this and not having like fucking pensions and healthcare and all this shit after giving their bodies. It is kind of sad, no, to see them having to do these fucking conventions hooked up to whatever. Look at what fucking Jake's got tubes in his nose and shit. That is sad. Now, was Machiavelli mocking them? I don't know. The wrestlers took it like, oh, you sad piece of shit. Why do you fucking... I didn't bookmark every single example because there was a billion. I got Cardona's, but it was like, damn, I don't think he meant it in a malicious way. I think he meant it in like a, man, it is sad. Like objectively, I would say it is like, fuck, man, I wish there was better for them. And maybe Machiavelli should have added more context. Again, social media just... yeah, it's not the best place to, you don't understand the cadence of his voice or if he said it the way I just conveyed it. I think when I just conveyed my message to my audience here, that this is sad. Like you can hear in my voice, I wish this wasn't the case, but by no means would I mock Jake the fucking Snake. Dean Malenko riding a scooter. Like it's legitimately like, fuck, man. They're all like, to me, I'm like, fuck, they got to carry their own luggage into these. You know, like, god damn, it would have been nice if they all got fucking pensions and shit like that for sure. Maybe Thirsty Thurston's onto something there.
The Mountie. Demolition.
Did you not get a photo with Violent J? Did you take one?
Who, me?
Nah, I only have video.
Yeah, I am glad they're making fucking money, man. Thank God there's like a bit of a wrestling boom again. I mean, it's not sad. Like, honestly, Flair looks honestly, for a guy who's gone as hard as he has, he actually doesn't look terrible. Demolition, they look good. And I'm not trying to judge them. I mean, here we go. The fucking Mountie looks great. Lawler looks good for like, you know, what he's had health-wise. And again, this isn't mocking or going, oh, this guy looks like shit. But I mean, it is sad to see like Malenko on a scooter and shit like that. If, you know, his knees or hips are bothering him, I think that you can say that without diminishing anyone. And I think Machiavelli cleared it up after. He's like, fuck, man, I didn't mean it as a diss, but wrestlers were like, it's sad to see wrestling fans like you delete your account. And it's like, shit, bro, I think y'all took it the wrong way. Like, I think he was just saying like, I don't know, whatever. Julian Weeks posted this. They were so confident. So this guy says, why are AEW fans in mass delusion convincing themselves that Mariah May is leaving? She left. That news about Mariah May is going to end up being like DG, who ended up staying in AEW. End up like DG. Here's the problem with MJF and Daniel Garcia. Those were made up lies. WWE didn't fucking give a fuck if they got Daniel Garcia. There was no bidding war for these guys. They just tried to pass. It was just a fraudulent thing because it didn't work on MJF. They tried to pass it off like that was a thing with Garcia. They tried to drum that up again. No one gave a fuck. WWE would have signed him he'd be starting from he'd be on Evolve right now. Anyways, I am betting good money that Mariah May will re-sign with AEW and stay there for a longer period. What? You were betting good money? How much? Where? Let's bet. With Saraya departure from AEW to do podcasting, free up more money to invest in Mariah May and another major female talent. And another major no, you guys don't get it. You could have said $1 million to Mariah May. She wouldn't have stayed. I know these e-dorks are feeling the pressure now because they actually think Mariah May leaving for the Fed. Mariah May shows up in NXT like 2 days later, bro. So Shotzi starts arguing with Sickos. And Booker T says Shotzi was always one of the hardest workers. Gorilla Blanco says Shotzi, unfortunately, was injury prone. She had a great gimmick she was able to build. I love when these people just fucking, oh my God. It's like, who's telling you this? Huh? She had a great gimmick she was able to build. This may be a blessing in disguise. She might want to become a mother now. She has time. Oh, my God. And then Shotzi goes, you idiots don't know what injury prone means. One major injury in 12 years isn't injury prone. Exactly. Injury prone is a term that you want to be smart, Marks. Yes. That's like the N-word, Shotzi. Don't use that. Fucking Dave Meltzer. I know she's not talking about me.
You fucking Mark!
So you are calling injury prone or not? Yeah, it's just a smart term made up by Dave Meltzer. Rest hold, work rate, injury prone. Like, I know that that's a saying in sports as well, but in wrestling, people just overuse it as well. And yeah, it's not, to me, Shotzi, I've joked and called her like Bocce Blackheart in the past and shit. And she makes me nervous. Like, she's reckless in a way where it seems like it's not controlled. Like a Darby, like, say what you will about Darby, he is a exceptional stunt. He's like a Jeff Hardy, like, he's reckless, but he is controlled in his recklessness. Say what you will about him. And again, when you're that light, it's easier to be. Ray Phoenix is the same way. Like, he will just hurl his body into the crowd, but he's like controlled with his recklessness. Shotzi seems like she wasn't, and I think people have the misconception that it seems like Megan Bain's about to do here. It seems like she's going to hurt people and then they don't get hurt, or it seems like she's hurting herself, but she hasn't really got hurt. And mostly her push has been like stop start. Speaking of AEW women, Cosmic Angel says, my dream is to be one on the, this is her talking shit. And this is real one, which who gives a fuck? He's a clown. Actually, there's a bunch here. So let's just read what these sickos had to say about Mariah May. So this guy says, from winning a championship in front of thousands to debuting in a warehouse with 300 smelly fans. Just wow. Real one says, it's okay. We still have them. Vel goes, my dream is to be one of the developmental show of a racialist trafficking company for less money than I made before. Like, am I supposed to pretend this isn't the dumbest thing ever? Took what is at least a 90% pay cut to work for the evil grape with a G company. Awesome stuff. Oh my God, man. Fuck, man. Neckbeard says rope work. Gonzalez says Roxanne, more like Roxed and Perez. No, that's stupid. More like Doxanne. Am I right? Fucking terrible, guys. That is really terrible. What happened to her, and it's really not funny. Okay, so let's move along here because we're trudging through. We're almost done the sickos. We have some Dave. We have plenty of time left. Here's Switchblade just owning a sicko, this guy being like, and this is someone who said one of the shits earlier about Mariah May now, arguing with Switchblade. What's the point of this post? You forget they're on Amazon Prime, pay-per-view, cable, satellite. And then Switchblade's like, dude, they're like YouTube stream of the pay-per-view. That the people in the chat indicate how many bought it, because why would you be in the chat just looking at a blank screen unless you're just like in the chat and illegally streaming it? But still, I mean, giving them the benefit of the doubt here is what Switchblade always gives AEW the benefit of the doubt, and Meltzer and shit. That's what's hilarious too. Like, he always gives them the benefit of the doubt, and they get so triggered by his shit when meanwhile it's like probably the most accurate. But anyways, the Black Angel of Death says, YouTube isn't even in the top 10. And then he just drops the Nielsen gauge, what Meltzer and them use. YouTube is number one. YouTube's king, bro. 12.4% of the fucking space. Whereas Max and WBD, they just call it WBD now. Whereas before they were just tracking Max on Nielsen, because we've been covering this. And WBD is 1.5%. Do you guys want to know what Max added? 0.2% or whatever to fucking WBD's overall shit. Or maybe it's more, I don't know. Maybe it's growing each month or whatever. But Switchblade, man, just fucking destroyed him. Puto Takagi. Here's Neckbeard. Speaking of Neckbeard, says on the same day that Tony Storm wrestled Mercedes Monet in a front of 30K people, the biggest women's match in AEW history, and one of the biggest matches of the year. It's like they're doing commercials every time. That's why people can't take it seriously. And one of the biggest matches of the year and one of the biggest women's matches, period. Mariah May will wrestle JC Jane or Doll Girl in front of 1,000 people. And it's worth way more than whatever padded fucking house. Like, that's 1,000 people who actually paid to be there. So Ryan Satin glitches out and he goes, glad I watched Double or Nothing and not Raw. And then Corbin goes, you could watch both. And then Ryan Satin goes, and yet I'm glad I didn't, since they gave time to a guy who called their entire fan base retards. And then I responded, I'm like, in fairness, the IWC is mostly restarted. And then some people went and corrected my grammar on restarted.
Be gone.
Dummy.
Yeah.
Fucking get with the fucking program here, buddy. And then, yeah, I commented underneath. I'm like, it's cute. People think I won't say retard, you know? So anyways, Gareth goes, good Lord. And this Carlos Cisneros guy's been just melting down. He's like, Mariah May made her choice. It's time to move on. AEW will too. From her, I mean, best of luck to her with what she wanted all along. Using AEW just like that, I mean, it seems scummy. In my opinion, no loyalty, no hustle or respect. I added that part. Ugh. Well, we got her replacement now in Thekla. So long, glamour. Such drama queens, dude. So this Carlos Cisneros guy goes, since being fired from All Elite Wrestling, CM Punk, real name Phil Brooks, that's one Bill Phil to you, baby back, has accomplished nothing since he returned to place what he hates and spoke out against. I'm glad he's gone from our home. Talk about being a sold out market for a conglomerate at this point. He. Yeah, anyone who does this like he at the end of their shit, they are pill-headed freaks of fucking nature. I promise you. Yeah, this dude just doesn't buy any AEW pay-per-views. I promise you that as well. So Top 10 Wrestling as well. Like, such a fucking goober. Has a decent YouTube channel, but like, bro, calm down. Like, what a fucking, he's an obsessive literal redact talking about fucking the IWC being restarted. So Top 10's like, AEW being better than WWE really sent that bald used car salesman into disarray. Bros writing essays talking about Julian Weeks. And then Weeks just, dude, all you do is to AEW is so much better than WWE right now. AEW is so much better than WWE right now. AEW is so much better than WWE right now. Literally, how have you not been flagged for being a fucking bot? My life became so much better when I stopped watching WWE weekly. Maybe it's about time I stop watching it entirely, LMFAO. Okay, then do that. Like, what the fuck? What are you trying to prove? You guys are cooked up. Speaking of cooked up, listen to this like weird parasocial sickness. Listen to AEW Defender here. Where could he have possibly gotten this feeling? He just invented this whole scenario in his head that I'm about to read to y'all. Because these are fucking sick sycophant, sick fucking freaks, bro. Real shit, man. Listen to this guy just invented this in his head. He goes, why do I have a very odd feeling? Mariah May is going to dive deep into the AEW jabs with her character. Why? First off, you don't know her. You don't know anyone in AEW. You don't know fucking anything about her at all ever in her life other than what she shares with you. Why would you get an odd feeling about anything about her at all? And why would this fucking cake that says congratulations on WWE, Mariah, it's her fucking dream? It was Osprey's dream to go to AEW, allegedly, apparently. He didn't celebrate it like this. She is. You're big mad. I quoted this. I was like, what kind of dumb sicko shit is this? You don't know her. You don't know anything about her character because she just appeared on NXT and said nothing about AEW. And she goes, or I say rather, I guess I'm a she now. Those odd feelings are called your conscience telling you to let go of your parasocial relationship with AEW and just be a fan of Mariah May because that's what you are. Go outside and talk to somebody today, folks. For real, though. Like, bro, you're just a fan of her. That weird feeling is fucking you interested in what she's going to do next. Cut this shit out and stop this weird tribalist. Like, you're fucking the tribalist goofball. And this defender guy plays it like, no, I'm just like giving the other side. No, you're not. That's what I do. You're fucking dumb. Okay? Anyways, moving along. AIRGold says Josh Alexander doesn't move me at all. And then this guy, he's so boring. And yeah, that's some sickos. They just don't like Alexander, you know? And I didn't think they would. They wouldn't appreciate him. I don't think he'd have been appreciated in WWE either, though, guys. Like Jeff Cobb, I really don't think is going to be really all that appreciated. Not that I'm like, he deserves to be, but I think they really fucked up by putting him with the bloodline and not Heyman. I really do, because I think he's just like a mid guy. He'll just stay that for the few years he's with. He won't even be with them that long anyways. Not saying everyone needs to be world champion shit, but there's a lot of sickos who are going to be like, look what they did with Cobb. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, that's obviously what they were doing when they switched him up with Reed there. But Jay from Canada, to wrap up sickos. This was a long one here. He says, SRS is about to make AIRGold cry. So yeah, these two sickos going at it. But AIRGold goes, AEW offered her over $1 million. WWE offered around $225K. AIR, shut the fuck up, bro. Just shut up. Just shut up, bro. And then Sap goes, source. So I don't know if that's in like their article or whatever, but that's just standard shit, right? You get 200K likely, especially if you're a name 100 to 200. Everyone in NXT, like main NXT, if you're like Evolve LFG NXT, I don't know if you're making six figures, but if you're like NXT, you're making six figures and up. And then once you go main roster, I mean, she'll get a bump, but it's not. And that's why, like, WWE's getting a bang for their buck with Vaquer and shit right now, too. So she for sure got a bump when she went up main roster, or they just signed her to main roster money automatically in NXT. And then they bumped her up. So if Mariah May's getting fast tracked, then I'm sure it could be something like that as well. But like, then they're getting a bang for their buck. Like, okay, because when Stephanie renegotiates, she's already a star. Like, she's already blowing up right now. So they know, like, look, we might as well squeeze the juice right now, you know, like, fuck it, while we can pay her less, and then that cup will overfill for her when she does these bigger houses and the fucking merch sales are through the roof and shit, you know, she'll make more. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the Sicko segment.